Welcome to Grandad Reviews. This is a reasonably short video. I'm just going to discuss a new scanner I've got. Now, I've done a video in the past and I'll put a link to it to one of these places and down in the description, where I showed you how I did my scanning with Epson V700, which I've been very happy with. It's been fantastic. It works a treat. But I've started doing more 35mm film photography, and I find the V300 isn't too brilliant with 35mm. It's great with medium format and it's fantastic with large format. So I've been looking around to see what my options are, and yes, you've got the Nikon Cool Scan and all those sort of things, but they're very expensive. And I subscribe to Kyle McDougall's YouTube channel, and he did a absolutely fantastic comparison between his £3,000 Nikon's Cool Scan and the Plustek 8100. And I thought, that might be an option, go for the Plustek. So I looked around and they're about £300 new, and on the second-hand market they're over £200, especially if you go to eBay, they soon go up. But then an actual bargain came up. There was a company doing a discount and an extra discount if you signed up for their newsletter, so I went for it, and I got Plustek 8100 for not much dearer than a second-hand one. So I thought I'd just show you the results of that. So I've done some scans with the Epson, some scans with the Plustek, straight from Silverfast, basic adjustments. There's no sharpening, nothing like that, just a little bit of colour tweaking to start with. And I thought, we'll have a look at the results. So I'm not going to show you how I scanned in that. I'll probably do a video on that at another time. I'll just show you what the results are. So the images I've got, they are from three types of film. So I've got some with Agfa Vista, some with Portra 160, and some from Kodak Vision 3 250D, which I've processed all these myself. So we'll just see what there is. So in the Vista, we've got Plustek on the right, and if you see the size, this was scanned at what I thought was its best resolution, which worked at about 3600 dpi, and then the Epson was at 32, which is what I've normally do. But straight off the bat, looking at this size, there's not a huge amount in it. If we have a look at this area here, you can see there is more detail. If we look in this band here, you can actually see all the ribs really nicely. And these on the Epson is a little bit more fuzzy. Go to the face and around this bit here, see there's more detail. And from memory, this actually is more the colour of his jacket than this black. It was like a green, so that's a bit better. So that's a difference. But the colours are slightly out, but that's something we can tweak in software. We then go to this photo shoot of an orc. A friend of mine, he's a cosplay and he builds all these costumes himself. No, I'll put a link to his Instagram in the bottom. So we've got Plustek on the right again. So see the size. And this is on Kodak Portra 160. And it was shot with a Canon EOS 3 with a 24-105. And you can see straight off the bat, we've got more detail. The lines are more defined, especially around the armour and everything. But one thing I have been noticing, because you're getting more detail, you're actually picking up damage on the negative. Now, I'm not sure if I've caused that scratch since I did this scan. I did this one slightly earlier, but you can see there's a scratch down there. Definitely more detail. We go to another one. Again, Plustek on the right. You can see there is more detail. So it is a better scan. Now, whether it's £200 better scan, I don't know. I think if you were starting off without a scanner, then I'd buy the Plustek. If you were just going to do 35mm. If you're going to do 35mm medium and probably large format, then I think I'd go for the V700. But if I was just doing 35mm, then yes, I'd go for the Plustek. Now, some people say it takes longer to scan with the Plustek. It doesn't take longer to scan with the Plustek. The only difference between scanning with the V300 and the Plustek is with the V700, I can load up 24 frames, 4 strips of 6, set it scanning, and go and make a coffee or do something else on the computer. Whereas with the Plustek, you've got to be there feeding the next negative in, the next negative in. But the total time to scan, it is really no different whatsoever. But as you can see, you are getting a more detailed scan. So if we go to the 250D, colours are different, but again, you can tweak that. That's easy to do. But if we zoom in here, on this fine detail, there's such a big difference. It is quite a little bit of a magenta in this one, but there is a difference, and I think it's worth it if you're going to be shooting a lot of 35 and you want the best scan. But as you can see here, it's picked up more dust than the Epson. I think it's the way it scans. The light is more, so I'm led to believe, oblique to the actual negative, where with the Epson it is horizontal with the scanning head, whereas Plustek, it bounces it around a bit, and I think this is why it picks up a bit more dust. Now, I bought the 8100 instead of the 8200, which has dust removal, because I'm not super happy with dust removal, IR dust removal. I've used it in the Epson, and when it gets it right, it's brilliant. But when it doesn't get it right, and it's not too great. So I'd rather do it myself. So if we take these two here, in more definition. Linking the headlight. And a couple more. And as you can see, and again, it's going to also depend on your lens, what film you're shooting, you're developing, anything like that, and how good your scan's going to end up being. We'll do one more. And just see a bit more crispness to the scan. Whether there's any more detail in it, hard to say, but it's just a little bit more crispness to it, which just makes it pop a bit more. I think if you're doing a lot of 35mm scanning, this 8100, yeah, it seems to do the job. Once you've tweaked settings, you're going to get even a better scan out of it. I think the one that shows it the most is obviously this one here. It's just more detail. Yes, you could sharpen this up, but then you're sharpening the grain as well. You can see a bit more grain because it's picking that up a bit more. But no, I think it is definitely worth it. And I think what my workflow is going to be now is I'm going to do like a pre-scan on the V700. So put all the negatives in there, get 24 frames, do a pre-scan, have a look at the negatives, see which ones I want to actually process, and then rescan them on the Plustek. So that's my quick look at the difference between Epson 700 and the Plustek 8100. Is it worth it? It's a double-edged sword, yes and no. If you've already got a V700 and you're doing a lot of medium format and very little 35mm, then no, I don't think it is. If you're doing a lot of 35mm and no medium format or any larger formats, then yes, it's definitely worth it. If you can afford it, both is great, because you don't have to have a V700, you could have a V600, something like that, cheaper. You can do bulk scanning, have a look at them, and then if you want a better scan, stick it in the Plustek. So yeah, I think it is worth it. So if you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. That helps the channel. If you want to see more videos like this, hit that subscribe button. Till next time, see you later.